Alright, hi guys. Yeah, it's been forever since I've done a story time, right? Anyways, so... Oh, why is my leg so itchy? I shaved my legs for the first time in like a year, and I like really went to town. And Jesus, it's just so itchy. Hope you guys like this new setup. I tried to put the pop figures I wanted to showcase for this at the forefront. So we've got Marco, Star Butterfly, Marceline, and we've got the Doctor, and Rose, and the TARDIS. So, yay! So, let's just get a few things straight before we... Okay, this like little extra baby hair is just driving me bananas. Okay, so let's just get a few things straight before we dive into this story time. So first and foremost, now you guys have already seen the title and you know kind of what this is going to be about. Basically, I just want to clear up some things because I'm really worried about how this is going to come across. First of all, no, this is not me being like, yeah, go scream at your teachers like they all suck and you should like scream at them. No, okay. Please respect your teachers. Most of them are really great. They have a really hard job and you should be respectful of them. I don't want anybody to follow my example. I definitely don't think that screaming is the right answer. Like, it's definitely better to keep your head in this kind of a situation that I'm gonna tell you about. Basically, do I wish I hadn't screamed? Yeah, that was pretty bad. But do I regret standing up for myself? Absolutely not. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I have no qualms about that part. So, it's just a little bit complicated, okay? Hello, it's me in the future, and I just wanted to add that also, if you're watching this and you think that this story is, like, really not a big deal, and that I overreacted or something, like, I get it. I've heard myself tell this story now that I've edited it and everything. It's kind of, like, not that big a deal, and I'm kind of over it. All I know is that I was really fucking mad at the time, and it still kind of makes me mad when I think about this story, but also, like, I don't know. I really just can't be objective in the situation anymore and know exactly how I'm supposed to perceive this. Like, is it a big deal? Was it not a big deal? I really just don't even fucking know anymore. So, you guys can be the judge of that, and, let me know what you think. Also, if you took his class and you know exactly which teacher I'm talking about, and he was, like, your favoriteest teacher in the whole wide world, and you think he's just the best, I promise you I'm not trying to change your mind. I just want to tell my story, and I totally understand if any of you went through his class and still think that he's amazing and great, and that is totally fine, and I respect that. Anyways, enjoy the video. If you're watching this and you're one of the people that was in guitar class with me, first of all, hi, hello. Also, yeah, you probably don't even know this story. When I say this is my most embarrassing high school moment, I mean this is... I hate talking about this. But the reason I'm making this video, the reason I'm telling this story on the internet is because I think that I could get a lot out of doing that, like telling these stories, putting it online, and seeing you guys' reactions really helps me to like process it in a way that's just not like crazy anxiety making my brain twist it and dilute it into something it's not. Like, yeah, it was embarrassing, yeah, it was a bad thing that happened, but like I shouldn't be holding it with such extreme guilt like so many years later. That's insane. If you went to my school, there's pretty much zero chance that you're not going to know who I'm talking about just because of the nature of the story. There's no way for me to really hide what class this was from. Like, you're just gonna know we're talking about guitar class, and that's that. Okay, for those of you who didn't go to my school and have no idea what I'm talking about, yeah, I went to an art school. In my high school, you had to major in an art of some form, and I chose guitar, classical guitar, to be specific. I took my first class in 6th grade, and I really liked it. I thought the teacher was hilarious and a really good teacher. Like, we all picked up playing guitar really easily, and it was a lot of fun. Going into high school, I decided to audition, and I got in for guitar. So that means that basically I had that class every single day. I had to perform in concerts. I had to keep my nails a certain way. I had to have these ones long, these ones really short to be able to play guitar. I think everybody was pretty fond of this teacher, everybody that had him. He was the teacher who had a lot of jokes, and it's been a long time. So that means I was in this teacher's class for 7 years. One of the main issues that I started having was that, and I've noticed this as a pattern, okay? I had certain professors in college who were like this too. It's always male professors. They just sort of treat me like I'm this fascinating novelty object for them to like figure out. They want to pick my brain and they want to understand me, and it's like, bitch, I'm a fucking open book. You can ask me literally anything and I will tell you. Also, I'm a person, and it's like, it's hard to explain how they treat me like that. It's like, oh, you're mysterious, and it's like, I'm really not. Like, you could just literally ask me, or if I clearly don't want to tell you, then maybe just like back off and like stop asking me things that I don't want to tell you. Speaking of, I've always had OCD. Yeah, I can't remember not having anxiety, and at some point, on top of having anxiety, I also started having these tics and twitches, and like, I would have anxiety about things not being a certain way or needing to do things the right way. It got better over the years, but like, there were times where it was like really hard to deal with. I definitely didn't want to talk to anyone about it. I mean, it was hard enough, like, my family had to like kind of see me doing these weird things and kind of come to the understanding that, oh, she has OCD. On television, they always make it seem like if there's a character with OCD, they're super clean, like they have to wash their hands, they're like, their house is super tidy, but that is absolutely not the only way that you can have OCD. There's so many different ways you can have OCD, the ways that it can affect you. For me, there's a lot of like tics and rituals and stuff that I have to do. I've learned to like manage it a lot better now, but especially in high school, I mean, I was so neurotic about it and I didn't want anybody to know. I've always tried to make it discreet, because when you see someone doing an OCD behavior and you don't know what that is because you've never seen anything like that before, it can look really strange and like alarming almost, or at least I don't know that it looks alarming, but from the way other people react when they've seen me doing things, they seem a bit alarmed. So, which is stupid. Like, get over your fucking shit. I mean, just, it's not that big a deal, okay? If I need to tap the table a few times before we can leave the restaurant, okay? Just chill out. Which, I don't know if that's a real example, but just that's the type of thing that I would do. I've always tried to be discreet about it. Apparently, this teacher, he also has OCD because he noticed. He would regularly take notice of like how I was doing my stand a certain way. Maybe I was adjusting the music on the stand a certain way. I really don't know. I don't actually always notice the way that I'm OCD. Apparently it was very familiar to him and he appreciated that there's someone else with OCD, which like, great, cool, like happy for you. But like, the problem there was that he would talk about it loudly in front of everybody, and he would constantly try to like ask me about, he wouldn't say OCD in front of everybody else. He would talk about how I'm being very particular, or I don't know exactly what he would say, it's been a long time, but he would just point it out like a lot in front of everybody, and it was just like, please stop. Little teenage me was not ready for anybody to know. I could barely talk about this stuff with my parents. I mean, I wish he would have taken the hint that, you know, I'm sitting there like not acknowledging him. I'm just trying to play my music. Like, I'm not gonna talk to you about this. And I'm sure like we were all just clueless teenagers. Everybody had their own stuff going on, so probably nobody noticed, but I was terrified that he kept talking about it in front of everyone, because I thought that for sure somebody was gonna figure it out, and I don't know what was gonna happen if they did, but I was terrified of that. So it just made me really uncomfortable and feel like he just didn't care about how I felt about the subject. Those are like the two things that would really get on my nerves. I genuinely held him in very high esteem up until senior year. So let's talk about senior year. So basically the whole goal of senior year is that you know you're leading up to the senior guitar recital. Every student who's a guitar major, senior year is going to have to do a concert at the end of the year where you're up on stage by yourself for the first time. You spend pretty much the entire year working on getting every song in your repertoire to be like up here. So senior year starts, and I notice pretty immediately that this teacher is acting a bit different. Nothing really triggered it. Us, the students, were acting pretty much the same, like it's just another year. The year's just started. It's not like we have like huge amounts of senioritis yet. He was acting as if we were just like, we didn't care, like we were seniors and we just want to get out of here. We don't want to do any work. Like, he gets it. We don't want to be here. And I was just looking around like, are we in the same room right now? Like, what's going on? This is really weird. And that was pretty much his attitude for like the whole entire year, and it just really started to get on my nerves. It didn't seem like anybody else was really noticing this, but I don't have an inherent respect for authority. like, if you're an authority figure, I'm gonna be respectful towards you. Unless you stop being respectful to me. And that's when I feel like I don't have to be respectful to you. So initially when he had that attitude, I didn't feel like I was being truly like disrespected yet, so things didn't get like tense like that yet. But I was just really disappointed in him. I really like school. It works really well for me. I know what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm in school, and I love the social aspect of it. I love learning something new. I just really like being at school. And to come in and see him have that kind of attitude was just really disappointing, because it's like, if you're not gonna match my energy, this isn't gonna be as much fun as it should be. And I have a few theories like why he might have acted like that. I mean, he's been our teacher for 7 years. Maybe him doing this is his way of like putting a little distance between us so that he doesn't feel as sad when we're gone. I like to think that that's the case. I mean, I have to think that to feel better about the situation. Okay, so back to the whole senior year thing. So for my solo repertoire, I picked these different pieces that basically just really meant a lot to me. Just picking songs that were just really meaningful for each year that I was there. So it's getting like right before the concert. I feel like it was the week of the senior recitals. The teacher told me that essentially one of my best friends was playing one of the same songs that I was playing. It wasn't really one of my favorites, but it was like really, really sentimental to me. You know, like I said, it was like an important song for a certain year that I was there. So I really wanted to play it. I'd worked really hard on it, but you know, it wasn't the one that I was focused on the most. So he comes up to me and tells me that, you know, it's probably my weakest song and I might want to consider getting rid of it. I was really like, no, I'm gonna get it up to that quality by the end of the week, by the time that the senior recitals are. He's like, okay, cool. And like, I had no qualms about this. I thought like, yeah, he's right. Like, there's a few kinks in it I need to work out. So let's just knock it out. I'll get that figured out. I made sure to like intensely like focus on this song, and I really improved where I was. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but how do I put this? This song like wasn't the crown piece. Like, it's nice, but it's not the song. You know what I mean? This wasn't like the song that's gonna stand out, that's gonna be remembered from my performance. But yeah, everything was set, and like he was like super cool with me, like playing everything that I had ready to play. And then it was the day of the senior recitals, and he's going around checking up on everybody, listening to everybody's set all the way through, and he comes to me last. I play everything through for him, and I get to the one song that had some problems. And I play it, and I thought I did a really good job. I think I might have like skipped a measure, and maybe fumbled some notes, but you know, I'm nervous. And like I said, it's the day of our senior recital. Like, guitar class was in the afternoon, so I think I might have had like one more class after this, and then I go home and I have to get ready and go to the concert. So there's like not a lot of time between then and the actual performance. So he listens to it and he's like, your friend is actually playing it a lot better than you, and you should just cut it out. Are you kidding me? I worked all year getting this whole set list ready to go, and I mean the whole year. Okay, I've practiced in class, I've practiced after school, I've practiced in front of other people, I've practiced in front of people who've never heard me play before. I was really sentimentally attached to everything, and now all of a sudden he's telling me the day of the concert that I can't play one of the songs I'm sentimentally attached to, and that I've worked this entire school year to get it up to par, and now a few hours before the recital I have to take it out. I mean, I was offended, I was hurt, and I tried to tell him like, no, I've really worked hard, like I think it's good. But one thing you need to know about this teacher is that he had a temper, a very short temper. He would just get really flush, like his whole face would turn red. It was honestly scary. I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure he had something that was broken in his room, like maybe a baton or something that had been like taped back together because he had gotten angry and like snapped it. Sometimes he'd gotten angry and like thrown things before. It was pretty bad. It didn't happen like super often, but when it did, it was not good. So back to the story. So I tried to tell him like, hey, no, like sorry, but I'm gonna play this song. I worked really, really hard. I'm really fond of this song, and this is what I've planned for, this is what I've practiced for. I want it to be part of the thing. It's also tonight. It's kind of short notice. And like the way I think of it is that in the end, it's me up there representing myself, and nobody is really gonna notice if I skipped a measure or fucked up a couple notes. You know what I mean? The other thing is that if he thought that I should have just taken it out, then he should have just told me that like a month or two ago. So I tried to express that to him. I was just really in shock that he was trying to like change something the day of. He got upset and told me, yeah, well, you missed several notes, you like skipped a bunch of stuff. and your friend plays it way better than you, so you just shouldn't play it. And the way he said it was just such a shock. Like, it was so rude and disrespectful that it made me angry. And I was like, you know what? No, I worked hard. I'm gonna play this song tonight. And he fucking lost his shit. So he was like, fine, play it for me. Play it for me right now. And then he pulled out from his pocket or somewhere a red colored pencil and took my sheet music in front of him. And so I'm like shaking. I'm like, okay, I'll play it again. I start playing the song again, and every time that I like get a dead note, you know, which is basically like when you pluck the string but it comes out as like bonk instead of like the actual note, you know, every time that I did that, or I messed up a note, or I skipped a measure, or I forgot to do the repeat, because I was nervous because he was losing his shit and turning red. Every time that happened, he would take the red colored pencil and very aggressively circle it on my paper. So I just like keep on playing, and I'm sweating and just trying to get my best to get through the song, but I keep making mistakes. And then by the end of it, he's like, see, this is all the times you messed up. You missed this and you skipped this, you messed up this measure and this measure and this measure. Also, while I was playing this and he was circling stuff, people had started leaving to go to the next class because, like I said, I was the last one that he came to that day. So all my classmates were leaving, and like the kids for the next class were coming in and going past us to get to the main room. I don't remember exactly where it went from there, but eventually I started raising my voice back at him. I was like, no, I'm gonna play the song. I worked really hard on this. I'm gonna play it. And then eventually he just sat up and stormed out of the room and threw the door shut behind him, and I, hot-headed and ready to fight, threw the door open and I screamed at him, and he didn't even turn around, but I screamed. Like, you could even possibly call it a screech. It was one of those things that was so emotional and full of rage that like you hear it echo back in your ears, and it's like shocks you. It hurts your throat afterwards. Like, you have to get a drink of water because it was that volatile and awful. I can't remember exactly what I yelled at him. Nothing like rude, but you know, screaming at someone is pretty rude. And it was until after I screamed that I saw all the freshmen and sophomore class sitting there horrified. And that is still what I feel the worst about, honestly. As much as I feel mixed feelings about the whole thing and how it went down, the thing that I definitely regret is that they had to be witness to that, because they didn't deserve that. They were just there to play guitar, and well, I was just there to play guitar, but yeah, didn't need to be aggressively red crayoned at, but you know. But seriously, yeah, they didn't deserve to have to witness that. It's been so long, but it still haunts me. That rage was all supposed to be directed at him, but because they were there and had to witness it, even if I didn't want to, even if it wasn't the intention, it still hurt them some too. Man, now I feel all guilty again. I was feeling good when I started telling the story. I feel really bad for those kids, who are now grown-ups, but still. And maybe they probably don't even remember that. I mean, all the craziness that goes on when you're in school, especially at our school, you're more likely to remember all the gas leaks than you are one fit of rage for one brief moment from a student that you don't even know, I hope. I called my mom after school and I told her how upset I was and everything that happened, and she basically told me that what I should do is like, don't play that song, and sometimes she's gonna set it up for me. We'll go somewhere nice outside, set up the camera, and I can play the full set list including that song. That way I can have that. And I said, okay, that's fine, I guess. Of course that never happened. I was tired and I didn't have the motivation to do it again. But here's the other thing. I didn't come up with this idea the night of the senior recital. This had been in the works for like a little while now. I have this pair of heels, my favorite heels. I call them my stripper heels because they're just so over the top. They're very tall, leopard print pumps with red backs on them. They're not Louis Vuittons, obviously. For your senior recital, you can wear anything. So I decided that for my senior guitar recital, I was gonna wear the stripper pumps. So if you know classical guitar, or maybe you were watching this because you were in my class, you know that when you play, you have to have your left leg elevated to elevate the neck of the guitar, and you have to put a foot stand under your left foot. So you might be wondering, like, if you're wearing super tall heels, how did the foot stand situation work? Well, So I came in my outfit with my tall heels. I get up on stage, I walk across the stage to this one chair waiting for me. I sit down, I move the foot stand out of the way, and I take off my right shoe so my bare foot is on the floor of the stage. And I'm using my right shoe as the foot stand. You understand what I'm saying? I have video evidence, so you guys can see this actually. So yeah, my shoe became my foot stand, and I did my senior recital half barefoot. It was pretty hilarious. I got a few chuckles from the audience. It was awesome. And that was just something that I wanted to do to kind of be like, fuck you. I don't take this shit fucking seriously, even though I worked my ass off to get my set list ready to go. I worked really fucking hard all year long. Fuck this shit because I'm fucking mad at you. I don't know, honestly, but it was hilarious and good for little rebel me. This makes me sound so juvenile. But honestly, there's not a whole lot of ways that you can rebel when you're in class that are not, I don't know, suspension worthy or like blatantly rude and disrespectful. It was just outside of societal norms and like etiquette that it could be somewhat disrespectful, and that was good enough for me. And then afterwards, I went to find my mom in the crowd, and it's all like, you know, you did great, baby, you did great. And my teacher came over and was like, oh, the shoe thing was hilarious. And I'm just looking at him like, bitch, this shit was not for you, fuck off. And here's the other thing that pissed me off about the senior recital. So the guitar teacher decided that he was going to take his janky camcorder, set it up on a tripod at the very, 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 very back of the auditorium and zoom it all the way in. This hurts my media studies soul. Just thinking of the graininess from all the zooming. That's how he was going to film it. He would afterwards like hand out DVDs of just like that person. So I told my mom, make sure to bring the camera because, you know, it's a senior recital, and like even if he's gonna be recording in the back, make sure you record it too, because I don't want just janky footage. I've been preparing for the entire school year for this moment. And so she's like, okay. And she knows how upset I am and how like serious I am about getting this right. Then I find out afterwards that apparently he came up to her, saw her with the tripod and camera, and said, oh no, please don't, because I'm gonna make sure you guys get a DVD. And so she, not wanting to be difficult, just said okay and didn't record it. Even though it's my senior recital. There's no one else on stage with me. There's no risk of like getting some other child in the shot. It's just me. Oh, it makes me so mad. So the only evidence that I have of this happening is his shitty footage from the back of the auditorium. It makes me so mad. Fuck. My mom was in the front row, which is also potentially not the best place to get video, but still. Beside the point, it would have been a more interesting angle than all the way from the back of the auditorium, all the way zoomed in. I'm like angry about this all over again right now, honestly. Like, fuck him. Just this memory, this story got me hot. I still now even hope that I never run into him. It's a different kind of hurt because he was just such an important teacher to me for so many years, and then he ruined all that. He gave me this really cool skill that, you know, I possibly could still do if, you know, I practiced or something. It's a really cool ability, like this gift of being able to make music. I took his piano class too, so I learned piano from him. And it's just like, I had so much respect for this person, and then it just all went completely opposite. Here's what I wish had happened. I wish we could have just said, okay, let's take a breath and let's just talk about this song. You know, just had an open conversation, nobody gets heated. Because if he hadn't gotten heated with me, I wouldn't have gotten heated with him. Like, he raised the intensity of the conversation and I met him there. I don't want to make it seem like it was his fault that I screamed, you know? Because I have to take ownership for what I did. I played a role in this. I played a part. That's my fault. It's not his fault that I screamed. It's my fault. I did that. I just felt like at the time, I'm an adult now, and I've learned a lot of things. I'm older and wiser, if you will. I'm now equipped with a lot more skills and knowledge to be able to like de-escalate situations. I'm able to see things a lot more clearly. Back then I was just a student and I was just in this position of like, I'm not the authority here, I don't have a lot of control, like I can't really see this from an objective point of view, you know? I didn't have the knowledge and the know-how to work through that. After the whole situation, I didn't want to acknowledge that it happened, but it probably would have just been easier if we had talked about it. You know, if he had like approached me and wanted to like deal with the situation, but I don't think he wanted to talk about it either. It seemed like at that point, once that argument started, it was like I was his enemy. And if I'm gonna be your enemy, then you might as well be my enemy, I guess. And that's just how it went down. And we never addressed it. I never got any kind of closure for that. Neither did he. It was a shitty fucking situation. Now I'm just out here being sad and shit. So I don't really know what to say to wrap this whole thing up. I'm just really fucking sad now. I didn't expect this to happen. Maybe I'll send this to him, maybe I won't, but I know that he has a Facebook account and I could just send it to him even though we're not friends on Facebook. I hope that nobody judges me badly for having made this video. I really just hope it brings me peace, and honestly I just want to get this off my chest and maybe this can be a learning experience for people. Whew. It was cold. I don't really have a moral of this story. Maybe you guys can figure it out. What did you take away from this story? Let me know in the comments below or message me your thoughts. I just want to stop holding on to resentment for all these years because it just feels like a dark, shriveled up, toxic part of my soul, if that's not too dramatic. It really does. It just feels like this dark part of my heart that I just don't want to hold on to anymore. So hopefully I'll feel better after I've posted this. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. Maybe it was entertaining for you. I hope. Make sure you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. And subscribe to my channel. I would love to get at least 80 subscribers before the year ends. And yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Please be respectful of blah, blah, blah. I'm too close, hold on. Okay, that's not working. Ugh, I'm eating my lip gloss now. Ugh. Oh, I just ate more of it. Oh, Jesus. We're really struggling today. Of the people in my guitar class watching this, how many times did he ask us if we'd seen Spinal Tap? And no, we haven't seen Spinal Tap between now and last Friday when you asked us. Make your man call me daddy. He talk too much, he's too chatty. So, this is my knee. Hello, knee. Baloney. Short skirt, little Roddy, don't you comment on my body. Wanna do stupid shit, gotta admit I'm a hypocrite. I like a woman in the beat, I'm a psycho, I'm a psycho. He told me that for my senior recital I had to play this one really janky song, in my opinion, that I really didn't want to play, but he was like, no, it'll be good, play this song, it'll be good for you, like do this song. And I'm just like, ugh, whatever. And I so hated that song. I thought it sounded so annoying. It was supposed to be like a clock or something, so it was just very like mechanical. It just, bleh. So I hated it so much that I didn't even bother to learn like the last 3 measures of the song. So literally every time I would play it, I would intentionally play something completely different every time that I finished the song. Like I would finish the song with completely different notes every single time. And he never fucking noticed. That is so funny. I cannot. That's a wet ass pussy. I'm talking rock. That's a wet ass pussy. Could be licking on a lolly dolled up like a dolly, short skirt, Lil Ronnie. Don't you comment on my body. Hey.